There are two types of wealthy people in this world. The first kind wants you to know they have money. The second kind simply has it. And the gap between those two groups is wider than most people will ever understand. Today, we are cracking open the invisible code that old money has operated by for generations. The 10 signs that people who recently came into wealth completely miss, while those who grew up around real generational wealth spot instantly. If you have ever wondered why truly wealthy families carry themselves differently, why certain rooms feel expensive without a single price tag in sight, and why new money tends to announce itself so loudly, stay locked in because this is going to completely rewire how you see wealth. Let us start with sign number 10, and this one surprises almost everyone. Old money is almost allergic to visible branding. When someone who recently acquired wealth gets their first real paycheck or business windfall, the very first instinct is usually to go buy the loudest, most recognizable logo they can find. That Gucci belt, that Louis Vuitton bag covered in monograms, that Versace shirt that basically has the brand name printed on it 40 times. New money wears the receipt. Old money wears the quality. Generational wealth families dress in fabrics so precisely made, cuts so perfectly tailored, materials so quietly exceptional that only someone who knows will ever know. There are no logos necessary because the garment itself is the statement, plain on the surface, extraordinary underneath. That is the first code. Sign number 9 is about watches, and this one is deeply misunderstood. New money gravitates toward watches that flash, diamonds, oversized dials, gold bracelets that catch every light in the room. And look, those pieces are genuinely expensive. Nobody is taking that away. But old money wears timepieces that look almost boring to the untrained eye. A slim, clean dial with no diamonds, a leather strap, a case so understated that most people would not give it a second glance. Yet that watch might be worth more than a luxury vehicle. The difference is that old money does not buy watches to impress strangers. They buy watches that hold and grow in value over decades, pieces that get passed down through families. When a watch becomes an heirloom, that is when you know it was not about performance, it was about legacy. Sign number 8 is how they handle their homes. New money builds or buys the mansion that makes jaws drop from the street. Massive gates, dramatic fountains. The kind of exterior that says, "Look at me from half a mile away." Old money does the opposite. Their properties are discreet, often tucked behind trees or private roads. But the moment you step inside, every single detail is completely custom. Not custom in the sense of expensive prefabricated pieces assembled together. Custom as in designed specifically for that family, that space, that lifestyle. There is no clutter anywhere. Every item in the home exists because it was chosen with complete intentionality, not because it was on sale or trending. Sign number 7 is about vehicles, and the contrast here is almost funny once you see it. New money buys the flashiest car on the lot, the one that turns heads at every traffic light. Old money drives something that blends in on the surface, but is quietly extraordinary underneath. The performance is exceptional. The craftsmanship is impeccable, but it does not scream its own name from across the parking lot. And here is the deeper layer that new money almost never catches. The truly wealthy often are not even driving themselves. The car is not in their name. The vehicle is managed the way everything else in their life is managed, through systems and people they have built around themselves. Sign number 6 is the language they use when money comes up in conversation. New money says things like, "I just got a huge raise," or "I paid so much for this." Old money never volunteers price information. They use entirely different vocabulary. They talk about portfolio adjustments, liquidity events, allocations. They discuss wealth in the language of strategy, rather than the language of shopping. And crucially, they never ask how much something costs in a social setting. Because among old money circles, asking the price is itself the signal that you are not already in the conversation. Sign number 5 is one that people almost never mention, but is incredibly telling. Look at the teeth and the skin. Generational wealth means decades of access to preventive health care, orthodontics that started early in childhood, and consistent dermatological care throughout life. The result is not flashy or overdone. It is simply the quiet, healthy appearance that comes from never having had to skip a dental appointment or dermatologist visit in your life. New money might eventually get veneers or cosmetic procedures. Old money just never needed them in the first place. Sign number 4 is where we hit something really important, and this is where the gap between new and old money becomes a financial canyon. New money buys things that depreciate: the exotic cars, the designer clothing drops, the luxury vacations filmed entirely for social media. Old money acquires assets that appreciate: rare art from emerging artists who later become icons, watches from specific manufacturers that have century-long wait lists, real estate in locations that the truly wealthy have quietly been accumulating for generations. The psychological difference is profound. New money spends to feel wealthy. Old money invests to stay wealthy. And this is actually the perfect moment to mention something that can genuinely change your financial trajectory. The Wealth Accelerator Academy is a group coaching system and course built specifically to help people bridge this exact gap, moving from the consumer mindset that traps new money into the asset-building mindset that creates generational wealth. If you are serious about financial freedom and not just the appearance of it, check the link in the description and find out how the Wealth Accelerator Academy can put you on a completely different path. Sign number 3 is something you will only catch if you have ever dined with someone in that world. Old money at a restaurant does not study the menu like it is a test they need to pass. They do not scan prices. They do not ask the waiter what is affordable. They do not make a production out of ordering. They move through the experience with complete ease. They say something like, "Whatever the chef is proud of tonight," or simply ask for their usual. This is not arrogance. It is the behavioral signature of someone who has never experienced financial anxiety around a dinner. That ease is internalized over generations. New money at the same table is often performing confidence rather than actually having it. Sign number 2 is subtle enough that most people walk right past it. Old money smells intentional, but not loud. The fragrances that circulate in genuinely wealthy circles are not the celebrity-endorsed department store bottles that everyone recognizes from 3 feet away. They are niche, limited production, often heritage house compositions that are almost impossible to identify unless you already know them. The scent is there, but it does not announce itself. It is discovered rather than broadcast, which is honestly a perfect metaphor for everything on this list. Sign number 1 is the most powerful and the most invisible. Old money owns time, not metaphorically, literally. They move slowly. They are never visibly rushed. They speak deliberately. They arrive on their own schedule. They make decisions without the frantic energy of someone operating from scarcity. New money is almost always in a hurry because urgency is what got them there. They had to hustle hard and fast to break through, and that operating mode does not easily switch off. Old money has never known the panic of a missed deadline or an overdrawn account, so their entire relationship with time is fundamentally different. They do not experience time as the enemy. They experience it as one of their possessions. And that, more than any watch or wardrobe or home, is the real flex. Now here is what I want you to think about. Every single one of these 10 signs points to the same underlying reality. Old money does not just have more dollars. It has a completely different operating system around wealth. The mindset, the behaviors, the language, the patience, all of it is wired differently. And here is the good news. That operating system can be learned. You do not have to be born into it. But you do have to be intentional about rewiring how you think about money before you can ever truly live like someone who was. If what you just watched resonated with you and you are genuinely ready to make that shift from consumer to builder, from appearance of wealth to actual financial freedom, the Wealth Accelerator Academy was built for exactly this moment in your journey. It is not just information. It is a full coaching system with a community and a roadmap. The link is in the description. Go check it out right now. And if this video gave you a new lens to see wealth through, hit subscribe right now because this channel consistently delivers the kind of financial insight that most people spend thousands of dollars to learn in seminars. Every week, we go deeper into the psychology, strategy, and real behaviors of wealth building. You just experienced what we do here. Do not miss what comes next. Now go think like old money, build like a wealth architect, and live like it was always the plan. Let us go.